So today we'll discuss about Lambda, AWS Lambda. So Lambda is a tool or service which is comes under in Lambda is a tool or service which is comes under in compute level or compute services. Okay, so generally one question they might ask in the interview: what is the difference between Lambda and EC2? What is the difference between Lambda and EC2? EC2 is server based, Lambda is serverless. And EC2 is infrastructure as a service, but Lambda is PaaS service, platform as a service. Okay, so cost wise, EC2 is more cost and charged per hour, but Lambda is less cost, charged for the running time of the code and consumption of the memory. Those are the major differences between the EC2 and the Lambda. With AWS Lambda, you can run the code without provisioning or managing the servers. Without provisioning and managing the servers, you pay only for the compute time that you consume. There is no charge when your code is not running. You can run code for virtually or any type of application or backend service, all with zero administration. Just upload your code and Lambda take care of everything required to be run the code and scale your code with high availability. You can set up your code to automatically trigger from other AWS services or call it directly from any web or mobile applications. AWS Lambda is a compute service where you can upload your code and create a Lambda function. AWS Lambda takes care of provisioning, managing the servers that you use to run the code. You don't have to worry about operating systems, patching, scaling, etc.
Sir, let me interrupt you. Are you sharing the this one, sir? Your lab?
Yes,
We're not able to see the whatever you're sharing. No.
can you rejoin back others, Amod and you guys, other guys can able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Raghavendra, I think there could be a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I will rejoin. Yeah, I will rejoin.
So AWS Lambda is a compute service where we can upload the code and create a Lambda function. Then Lambda function can read the data what you uploaded, and AWS Lambda take care of provisioning and managing the servers. Well, for example, if your code wants to run, your code wants to deploy it in server, we require a server, right? But who will take care of the server creation part? In EC2 means we will take care, but Lambda means AWS will take care. That you use to run the code. You don't have to worry about operating system and patching, scaling, etc. You can use Lambda in the following ways. As a event-driven compute service, where AWS Lambda runs your code in response to the events. These events could be changes to the data in the Amazon S3 bucket or an Amazon DynamoDB table also. So as a compute service to run your code in the response of HTTP request using Amazon API gateway or API calls made using the AWS SDKs. So language supported by Lambda will be C#, Node.js, Java, Python. Like this, multiple languages will be supported. When it comes to the pricing wise, number of requests, if you think about first million requests are free, then thereafter 0.00065 per million requests thereafter. When you talk about the duration is calculated from the time your code begins executing until it returns or otherwise terminates, run up to the nearest 100 milliseconds. The price depends upon the amount of memory you allocate to your function. You are charged for 0.00016 is per every GB per second used. This is the cost level things. But if you compare this cost with the AWS, right? So AWS EC2, right? This is a far more. I mean, Lambda is very cheaper. So why Lambda is cool or why Lambda is cheaper? People used to call that. Why means because Lambda does not have any servers. Then Lambda work with continuous scaling. That's a major one. Then Lambda is super cheap. That's the reason Lambda is very popular nowadays. Okay. Let me do the practical for this. I'm gonna show that how Lambda will work. Okay. So we're going to do one project, guys. This project will require some of the tools. I'll cover up those tools also. I'll show real time how this will work. Okay. So the project title will be how do I use AWS Lambda to stop and start Amazon EC2 instances at regular intervals. Regular intervals nothing but based upon the time schedule. So for example, let's take a simple example. Your company timings will be Monday to Friday. So Monday 9 o'clock to evening 6 o'clock your your work time will be. So that's repeats for till Monday to Friday only. Saturday Sunday regular off will be there. Okay, you can think like this. So generally in the company there are three sort of servers will maintain. One is dev servers, QA servers, and production servers. Production servers we could not touch because production servers always should run because those are the servers which will be generating the revenue for us. That's the reason we are not touching anything on the production servers. Then this dev and QA servers are there, right? These servers will use for deployment and along with testing purposes only. These servers usually when the person is working or when the operation hours are there, right? That moment only these servers are required to run. But during the off time, nothing but during the night time or maybe weekend time, nobody using these servers. Such a moment, instead of running those servers, we can stop those servers, right? Remember, AWS will always charge when the servers are running. If the servers are not running, AWS won't charge at all. Okay, in that way, I want to automatically stop and start my Amazon EC2 cloud computing EC2 instances to reduce my Amazon EC2 usage. I mean, bill you want to reduce. Such a moment we can use this project. Okay, this project is going to play a main role for stopping the servers and starting the servers automatically, and it is going to reduce a significant amount of bill in your AWS account. Okay. This is required some sort of the things. I'm going to create those. So first thing, IAM role is required, and along with IAM policy is required. I'm doing the things. Okay. So this is the policy. Create an IAM policy and role in your Lambda function. This is the policy. Let me copy the policy first. So let me go to AWS account, search for IAM. Go to IAM. Here, policies, create policy. JSON editor. Remove this complete everything. Then you can paste the copied value and click on next. Here I can give the policy name Lambda policy. Same thing I will give it here as well. Then create policy. Now the policy is created. Similar way I can create the role. Create role. AWS service. I can choose is it Lambda. Use case Lambda. Next I can select here Lambda policy. The custom policy what we created a Lambda policy. We can choose that. Instead of all types, customer managed, choose this. And apart from this, I'll gonna select also administrator access. Both I'll select and click on next. Here I can give the role name as Lambda stop start role. The name. Then you can click on create role. Now the role is created. Then in this step, create an IAM role for Lambda also done. Attach the IAM policy to the role also done. Next, what we need to do is we need to create the Lambda function. So for creating a Lambda function, we required one or two servers. One or two servers are required to be created. I have only one server. I'll gonna create one more server on the based on this. Let me start the server. If you have one server, right, we can make using the servers. We can create one more server. Okay, select
Are you there, sir? Hello?
Maybe network issue, bro.
Yes, could be.